Homelander speaking. I'm coming for you.
Alright, so I just want to give my take on the finale of The Boys. I just want to comment on it because a lot of stuff did happen that's pretty much set up for the final season of The Boys coming on 2026, which is a shame because we got to wait like pretty much 2 years for the conclusion of one of the best superhero stories in a while. So that disappoints me. Also, if you're wondering what's up with the fan, I currently have no power and it's like super hot in my room, so I gotta wait till the power comes out. So yeah, anyways, before I begin this video, I do want to comment that originally the episode was actually titled Assassination Run, so like I'm pretty sure they listed this whenever the episodes dropped about a year ago, about a few months ago, but they recently changed that title from Assassination Run to season 4 finale. And the reason being this is because it was actually an assassination attempt on the current running elect Donald Trump, which happened this previous weekend as of the moment of me recording this, which was wild. I even made a joke to one of my friends. I'm like, damn, The Boys is freaking promos getting a little bit too real for me. And what do you know, the minute this episode comes out, Amazon releases a statement saying anything or viewer discretion advised, trigger warning for those they don't know anything that happens in real life. We are not responsible. We do not support that. We do not comply with political assassination. We do not support that in any sort of way, or whatever the case is. Anything that you see in The Boys is purely fictional, and it's not meant to inspire and or mimic real life events, which was pretty interesting. I knew this was gonna happen the minute that big event happened. If you're not aware, that was pretty much like the biggest headline in all of American news in the previous weekend, because the minute I saw that, Twitter was exploding, and that's pretty much as political as I'll get on like my part regarding that. But the episode, pretty good. I gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed with the way like some of the fights. There wasn't any really big battle scene. The way Newman went out with pretty much Billy like killing her, I felt like that was kind of a bit underwhelming. I was expecting more of a big brawl, at least a big battle between Newman and Billy, but the fact that Billy ended up turning into Venom and just ripping her in shreds, I was expecting at least hand-to-hand combat, maybe him struggling, maybe the boys like trying to fight Billy, but at the same time I get it, Billy has become Venom and like he's pretty much the most strongest member of The Boys, so it makes sense that we're pretty much in fear of him. And the only reason Kimiko and Starlight didn't die was because there's a small bit of humanity left, and Billy that said, you know what, Joel, do not get these guys are cool for now. I'm just gonna take the virus from Frenchie and pretty much kill off everyone, so they're gonna die eventually. So that's pretty much the last that we see of Billy, at least in the episode. Towards the end, we just see him driving off into the sunset, and no one knows where, but we can assume he's gonna go make more of this virus to like pretty much fight off the Homelander regime, which is what I'm gonna call it, because at the end of the episode, pretty much Homelander and Sister Sage like take control of the country. Newman is dead. Dakota Bob Dakota, I forgot, the president is pretty much in prison for ordering an assassination attempt, or for actually ordering the assassination of President Newman. So he's pretty much shown in prison. Any supporters of the Starlighters are pretty much open season. They're pretty much like gonna be hunted down, and the Boys members are all pretty much hunted down. You get Huey taken down by, what was her name, Cindy or whatever the girl is, that girl who can explode people with telepathy. She's finally back. I was curious what actually ended up happening with her, because the last time we saw her was at the end of the season 2 finale from a few years ago. I think like 3 years ago. Wow, time goes by really fast. And the fact that she's back and she almost off Starlight, which is pretty insane. Also, I gotta mention, as the way that Starlight got her powers back, and she just flew out of the sky like boom, like kind of took me back. It's like, whoa, okay, Starlight is officially back and she's basically a fugitive. So I'm curious to see how she's gonna play a big part into season 5 or even the second season of Gen V, because I do have a feeling, I'll discuss that like towards the end of this video, what's gonna happen regarding that series. But we also get to hear Kimiko talk for the very first time as Frenchie's being taken away, mind controlled, which was really heartbreaking. Like I didn't realize that till like my second rewatch, until I saw people online commenting Kimiko actually talked, and her first words were basically like, no. It was pretty sad to see, and we actually got them together only for them to be separated, which was pretty tragic. I know early in the season a lot of people were complaining about Frenchie's arc, but they finally get together and it's paid off, only for them to be separated. That's just really heartbreaking. As far as Mother's Milk, he's just cooked. Like, he's cooked no matter what. Also, I did predict that A-Train wasn't going to be here. I didn't say that in any video. I just figured he wasn't going to be in the finale, because if he was, he would have been hunted down by freaking Homelander. So there's that. As far as the massacre at Tower 7 or 7 Tower, that was pretty insane. And the fact that Ashley took Compound V to get away from Homelander to make herself a suit was pretty interesting. As far as what her abilities be, I feel like she's gonna mutate into like some sort of creature, maybe like a hamster or like a Medusa type of character, because like if you're not familiar with Medusa, pretty much she has like snakes for hair and she can turn people into stone. So I have a feeling that maybe Ashley like gained the powers to turn people into stone. It's not out there, but I feel like it would be something similar to that, where maybe she grows hair or like she can turn people into stone if she looks at them. That would be pretty interesting, because like her and Medusa kind of like remind me, they have similar like characteristics, you could say. Like people are afraid of her, or like she's so ugly she'll stare people down and like intimidate them, kind of like how Medusa in the original story from like Greek mythology, she'll look at people, they turn into stone. I have a feeling Ashley's abilities would be something like that if she actually turns into a soup, like one they fully develop her powers. But we don't really know what happened to her. It was pretty much left off as a big cliffhanger for the following season, and everyone at the 7th Tower that's not a soup is pretty much cooked. They were on the murder list that the Deep came up with. Also, I hate the Deep. Like, man, the Peak is just it's going wild. He's gone wild, man. Black Nari's been Black Nari, just like on a murder spree. And as far as Ryan goes, like, man, someone really has to knock some sense into Ryan. I get it, he's still a kid, but at the same time, it's like, try to listen to reason. Like, the only reason that you're here is to be a weapon against Homelander. The fact that Ryan is so kind of blinded by somewhat loyalty towards his biological father, I get it. It's his dad, regardless if he's a monster or not. It's still his dad, and he's gonna view him as a dad regardless, even the way he was conceived. Maybe he'll have second doubts in the upcoming season, but the way he ended Mallory was pretty much the final warning for Billy. Like, that pretty much pushed him over the edge, and he's like, you know what, I'm going on the warpath, screw you, Ryan, you're on your own. And that pretty much wraps up what happened in the finale. As far as Homelander taking over the country, that was pretty cool to see, and how this was pretty much all of Sister Sage's plan. Like, all along she dipped and like she let Homelander be Homelander so he can like do something in the finale. Like, she pretty much like said, yeah, Homelander, you're gonna screw this, and I want you to screw this because it's gonna play a big part into my plans. So now it's time for phase 2. What phase 2 means, I don't know. There's a lot of predictions people could do, and if we look at the comics, I can't really predict what's gonna happen next. Maybe they're gonna like turn people into soups, like select people, but now that they have control over the government, now that they've enacted martial law, I'm curious as to see how the events of Gen V season 2 will actually happen, which leads me into my other theory. I do believe that we're actually going to get some of the boys members appearing in the second season of Gen V, specifically Starlight and Billy. I have a feeling that those two will actually appear in some sort of way, or whatever the case is. Maybe A-Train, because we didn't really say A-Train at the end of this season, mostly due to the fact that he has disappeared. He is up and vanished, and as far as we know, the members of Gen V, they're just hiding out in some facility, because the last time we saw them, they were pretty much trapped down there. So I have a feeling that they're gonna encounter Starlight, and they're gonna team up with her to form a resistance to try to overthrow the 7, or try to break out the members of the boys and bring them back together. That's pretty much my theory as how Gen V is gonna connect to the finale of the boys, the final season. I do feel like they are gonna all team up pretty much and break out the boys from prison. Like, Starlight's gonna help them help her like get all the members out a prison, and then maybe they'll go after Billy, or Billy's gonna have some sort of involvement with them. Maybe he's gonna try to go to the original source of the virus by going back to Godolkin University. So I'm curious as to see like if any of those predictions will actually come true. I do think that's actually going to happen, like some big team up, because there's no way you're going to leave off some of these characters, introduce them, and not do anything with them. I do feel like they're going to have some sort of like hand into the final season, directly or indirectly. But speaking of the season, I know people have been saying this was probably the lamest season of The Boys, but you gotta think about it like this: anytime you make anything political, it's gonna get like very boring, it's gonna get very bland and not too much action. I get it, it wasn't really the best in my opinion. There was a lot of missed potential in like this season. After watching pretty much all the episodes of The Boys, there was a lot of missed potential. There was good moments, there was bad moments, but overall it was a pretty good season. It wasn't that bad, and the fact that it was made during election year is still kind of wild. People are saying like this is a new Simpsons, it predicted everything. No, not really. I mean, unless they got like a time machine or something like that. But anytime you involve anything political, sometimes it's gonna get dragged out, and sometimes it's just gonna get absolutely boring, and people are just gonna talk and talk and talk. But I do admire them for like doing the things that they did. Also, we gotta talk about that crazy cliffhanger, the fact that Soldier Boy, like Homelander, found Soldier Boy, and whether they team up or like he's gonna gain under the influence of Kate from Gen V is all up in the question. But yeah, and this is my quick thoughts on the season overall. Anyways, what did you guys think of this finale? Do you guys agree with my prediction? What do you guys think is gonna happen? Are you excited for The Boys season 5? I can't believe we're on the final season soon. But yeah, anyways, I'll catch you guys on my next one.